Go. Welcome back, everybody, to the They Fly Now show, episode 10, season 1 finale. I'm your host, Hereth Productions. We got Car2D2, and we got these amazing guests. And
I'm not the co-host.
Oh
this is the finale. It's off to a great start.
Okay.
Season finale, is it? It's the record. Okay. All right. As for usual, we'll start off with our who are you? Where can we find you? I'll start with Malik.
Oh, thank you. Oh, look at me. Right on the spot. Oh boy. Hi, my name is Malik. I am what's known as a nerd with an opinion on the internet. You know, there's a lot of those going around. You can find I talk a lot about Star Wars, pro wrestling, comics, all types of nerdy stuff. You can find me on TikTok at the Jedi Smark. I have my own podcast called Ha! It's a podcast, which is actually funny. I wasn't on the last episode, but I'm on this one, so it looks like I'm leaving that podcast for this one. Yeah, you can find me on that podcast where I just talk about all types of random stuff with my best friend. And we're on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find any of your podcasts. That's where we are. That's where you'll find It's a Podcast.
Is it a nerd podcast? I haven't listened to it, but
it's a bit of a nerd. It's a bit just life. We just talk about whatever, man. We have an episode where literally we discuss the Great Emu War in Australia. You're not aware about that? Australia went to war. Australia went to war with a bunch of flightless birds and lost. This is actual history. Look it up. We talk about this in one of our episodes. It's incredible.
Huh.
Oh,
That's rough for Australia. That's really rough for Australia. They're not looking good.
Yeah.
Australia was different back then.
It was different back then. Oh my god.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And Beth, where can we find you? Who are you?
Who am I? That's a great question. I ask myself that every single day. I'm Beth. You can find me on TikTok at mara.j.skywalker. I don't have any other cool podcasts. I just do the TikTok thing right now. But who knows in the future? We're leaving it open. So
Look at that.
Leave it open for opportunities.
You should make one. Podcasts are fun.
Yeah.
So it does one every week.
Okay.
It's sometimes you feel it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, that's accurate.
We'll conclude episode 10 of They Fly Now podcast. Thank you guys for joining.
It's just out of there. It's just leave.
Not. Also, real quick, before we start talking, so Harris said this is the end of season 1 that we kind of want to say. Starting next week, we're going to redesign. So the whole background and text and everything is going to be completely changed. It looks way better. We have an introduction little thingy. It's going to be awesome. We're going to start highlighting comments. It's going to be upgraded 10 times. And shout out to the chat. Shout out to Pods One Podcast, Luke, Aiden Talk Star Wars, Ace Bronx. Thank you guys for joining.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, without the chat, it's impossible. Clearly.
Yeah. Without the audience, it's kind of hard to do a show, isn't it?
You're not wrong. Oh my god.
So if we were I guess let's just get into it.
Yeah.
The Dark Saber. It's the title of the episode, Trials of the Dark Saber. We're just going to be kind of talking about the Dark Saber and Mandalore, Malik's favorite Bo-Katan.
You know how it is.
Gone.
Click.
And basically everything that is surrounding that general topic. So start off, we'll just ask both you guys. So we see the Dark Saber for the first time in the Clone Wars with Pre Vizsla, obviously, at at his base on Mandalore.
I think it was a moon. I'm a little fuzzy too.
Oh, it's Concordia.
Here we go.
Okay, it is Concordia. So, what are you guys' opinions on how the dark saber got introduced into the Clone Wars? Malik, if you want to go for, or
like,
Beth, let's go.
Yeah, I was like, Beth should start. I did the intro.
Oh, do you mean like my impressions as to how, like,
Yeah.
my reaction to it? Okay. I thought it was a very compelling introduction. I like how they just brought it out, and Previs was like, yeah, I've unalived a lot of Jedi with this. This is my ancestors have had this for over 1,000 years. You should probably be terrified. And I liked the fact that there was like this whole sense of mystery around it, and it really added to like the lore of Mandalore, if you will, specifically because we didn't have a lot of knowledge about it at that time. So I thought it was a great way to introduce like this whole. I mean, it's almost like a character at this point, but this whole new concept.
Yeah, I would
It
definitely
is.
agree.
It's a lot like a character. Malik.
All right. So when I saw this, so mind you, when I saw this episode, I was a young kid. I was in middle school when this episode dropped, and I watched it live as it premiered. So young, like tween. Well, I brought my tweens. Malik is watching this, and Mandalorian shows up, and with a black lightsaber. I lost my bleep. I was a menace when I saw that there was a black lightsaber, and just like, again, much like Beth said, you're like, what? There's just so much here. Like, they stole it from the temple? Like, who had it? What's the deal? What's the crystal? There's so much you're wearing. Plus, like, the design was so unique, you know? It was like, it looked like an actual blade. It had a proper hilt. You're like, what is this? And like, and to see it being wielded by like a Mandalorian, you're like, first, I was already excited because I remember the trailer when they showed Mandalorian season 2 of Clone Wars. I'm like, dude, Mando's coming. I'm like, black lightsaber? What? Like, that's not what I expected. And it just became it became one of the most like compelling things as we'll get to later on throughout like multiple Star Wars properties.
Yeah, I always make the parallel with the Darksaber. Like, you could tell they took a lot of inspiration from. I always make the comparison of the. Why am I forgetting the name of it in Harry Potter?
The Elder one.
Yeah, the Elder one. Like, you could tell, like, Dave Filoni was very much looking at that for inspiration, like the whole rules of it and how it works and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So when I first saw that, because I watched Clone Wars again on Netflix in 2016, so I didn't have that nostalgia. I watched it early when I was a kid, but not really as much. I watched like a couple of the early season 1 episodes, but when I saw it again, I was like, "Whoa, this is insane!" Like how it works, how everything is, how it's functional, and I'm like, and then it's voiced, and then you have previously voiced by Jon Favreau, and it's just like, again, those. I always, when I recommend Clone Wars to people, I always just say, watch these 2 episodes. You'll get everything you want with the Clone Wars in these 2 episods with the introduction to Pre Vizsla and everything.
Just to veer off a little bit, can we talk about how horrible Vizsla's haircut was in that episode? It was like a weird, like, loop on his head. I'm like, dude, save that. Like, thank God, like, when we see him again, he shaves. He's like proper bald. I'm like, good. Keep that look, man. He looks much better.
In season 5, he's just like, I'm shaving this off because my hair is horrible.
He goes bald, and he goes, then he gets bald, then Maul gives him a little bit more off the top, and then
Oh my god.
Maul takes a lot off the top.
I think a little bit's a bit of an understatement.
Yeah, Maul commits. He commits. You've got to give him that.
Oh my god. I'd be like, oh, sorry. That's a little bit thinking of that.
It's alright.
No, you're good. So obviously when it comes to Clone Wars, we had the Pre Vizsla section, and then we had a little bit like the little mini arc with Ahsoka going to the village with Bo-Katan and Pre Vizsla, and you got that iconic ass slapping. Nobody talks about. I just had to say it. I just had to throw it.
It's obligatory at this point. And I'm like, wow.
I had to just do it. It was right there, and I took it.
It's like just a little whoop.
Just a little whoop. So you got.
It needs like when she does it, it's like a Goomba from Mario. Like whenever you like pound that Goomba, it goes whoop. Or she goes,
Oh my god. Sorry, that was an easy joke.
It's one of Bo-Katan's. I wonder if they talk about that like post Clone Wars. Like, hey, when we first met, you did a thing, Bo.
we did a lot of things, but like the thing.
Yeah. That's big. So,
Does my mic sound like
yes. It sounds like Megatron.
yeah, I'm hearing-
robot?
You're a little bit of feedback, yes.
Okay,
Anyway, guys, you had to fix yourself from being Megatron.
I feel like they have to address it at some point. At least be like, hey, that was a thing that happened.
That was a thing, and like we haven't really you haven't said sorry. You haven't said sorry for a lot of things you've done, Bo-Katan.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but I remember too, like that was just cool to see. Like Vizsla, like it was such like a Mandalorian thing where like they're just burning villages and taking the women as slave. Like this is awful, but it's very Mandalorian in the worst way possible.
You got that light.
I think it really served as a good contrast as far as like the new Mandalorians versus Death Watch and like the traditionalists, if you will, to really give you a sense of like again why they were so angry with Satine and the new Mandalorians, because the values were night and day. So I thought that was a good way to do it.
Which again, I hopefully we'll see that further explored in something else coming down the pipeline. Wink, wink.
It's really easy to tell who's the good guys and who are the bad guys whenever one side loves peace and the other side burns down villages and their morals are rooted in a lightsaber that you win trial by combat. That's
correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the woman that Ahsoka fights in Mandalorian, wasn't she like at the village when like they burned it down, or like wasn't she like a villager from there?
Was she? I don't know.
I think I heard. I'm not too certain on, but I heard something like that. Apparently, that she was there when Death Watch burned it all down.
Because I was wondering during that scene, because she was like, we encountered each other during the Clone Wars. I was like, where the hell chronologically did that take place?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe she was one of the girls that Ahsoka saved from Death Watch. That's
a double meaning right there.
Yeah, it takes it to a whole nother level. Whew.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that? Oh, what's her name?
Morgan Elsbeth, I believe.
Yeah.
It up.
Yeah, I think that's her name, but or just like just type in the magistrate, I guess, for Mandalorian.
Yeah, that would make sense chronologically.
What else we got to talk about in terms of this dark saber? Vizsla takes it. Is there anything we're forgetting there?
Well, Vizsla takes it obviously.
Vizsla's just kind of an ass.
Yeah,
but he's played by Jon Favreau, so it makes it better.
I just love how Jon Favreau and Grievous look nothing like one another.
See, I didn't even know it was Jon Favreau for the longest time until I looked him up. Like, wait, that was Jon Favreau? Wow.
Yeah,
he voices a couple people. He voices the pilot in Solo as well.
Yes, and then
yeah, I forgot his name, but I know Jon Favreau is in Solo.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think after that, I don't think Vizsla does too much with the darksaber until we then get to the inevitable where he finds a weird red horned man floating through space.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fix this guy up and his brother and see where this goes.
He goes, wait, they're Sith Lords? This is gonna go completely fine. They're not gonna betray me ever. Sith don't do that.
Well, at first he doesn't know what they are. He sees Leslie. He was like, "What are you?"
Man, I love how Bo-Katan sees it first. She's like, he's gonna betray me. And he's like, no, everything's gonna be honky-dory.
There's that weird tension between the two. And they both know that each other's gonna betray them. and Maul's talking crap on Pre-Vizsla to Savage, and Savage is Maul's talking crap on Vizsla to Savage, and Vizsla's talking crap on Maul to Bo-Katan, and it keeps like cutting back and forth between the two.
It's so those who wield the dark saber are just very petty from what you're telling me.
I mean, you're not wrong, except for Sabine.
I'm not wrong.
It's one of the requirements to be the true Mandalore. You must be petty AF.
Yeah. Again, then Vizsla and Maul, they then take that thing on like a literal reign of terror as they just like tear apart the underworld and reforge it their own. They go who do they go the Black Suns, they go the Pikes, and I'm like, wow,
Black
they
Sun,
just
Pike,
the Huts.
the Huts.
yeah, the Hut. That's right. I
Yeah.
forget. Doesn't the one Hut get like force choked? Oh my god.
No, dude, Maul holds like a lightsaber to his neck and just starts interrogating him.
Oh, that's rough. Oh my god.
Are we just gonna forget
Like
about
they walk in to like Jabba's palace, and it's like after they just completely rampaged all the other Huts, they're like, "Are you really gonna not listen to us now?" And Jabba's like, "All right, fine."
He's like, I guess I'll team up with you guys.
But before we get there, let's kind of talk about the Maul versus Pre-Vizsla fight.
What's after that?
Oh no!
Wait, is it? Oh my god!
Yeah,
Yes,
remember,
it's
yeah, remember
after.
they team up, take over Underworld, then
Yes.
then they
Oh,
fight. That's the end of the
my
arc.
Yeah,
God.
you're jumping a little bit ahead. I was gonna bring in Black Suns because when I watched the Netflix version, because obviously it's Disney Plus and Netflix have the uncensored version of Clone Wars compared to Cartoon Network. When they roll into Black Suns and Maul just takes out Savage takes out his lightsaber, just chucks it across the room and like takes out everybody. I'm like, what the hell? This is a children's show.
Yeah, that's in Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that too.
Oh my
It takes off everyone's head, every single person's head at the table. Fudge goes.
Yeah. Yeah, young Malik was in awe of like, the ultra violence he was witnessing at the time. Like, what? Whoa.
See, I was too until I realized that Savage is voiced by Clancy Brown, who also voices Mr. Krabs. from SpongeBob. And then it just like took me out of every single time I see it. It just takes me out of the moment, and I'm like, oh god.
You're small, me boy.
You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that Mr. Krabs and Savage are played by the same guy?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The guy who voices SpongeBob is also in a Clone Wars.
Who's that?
Yeah, the guy he plays he's in the Padme episodes. He's that incompetent cop who like can't investigate worth
Oh
anything.
yeah.
That's SpongeBob.
What?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
blowing minds.
Wait, I'm
Yeah, I'm out here.
It's the same guy.
We're blowing the host's mind with like the SpongeBob cast of Clone Wars. They weren't ready.
Penny. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that weird cop dude. Does he have like with the little?
Yeah, he's got like a weird misshapen head.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
Clone
crazy.
Wars.
Yeah. But yeah, the one of the most underrated fights probably in all of Clone Wars, the Maul Vizsla fight.
Oh. It's so good.
It's
I
not
love
it's
it
not
so
yeah, it's not talked about enough, man. Just the way Vizsla works his like, oh, I'm gonna work. He Vizsla puts up a good fight. He gets some good licks on Maul. He uses the flamethrower, hits him with the grenade. But again, he's not ready for like the power of a man who lost his legs and wants to kill a bearded man.
Yeah, because Maul doesn't use the Force. Like that's the
No.
biggest thing. Is that's like
Fair enough.
I was like, oh snap! Like he's fighting him.
Yeah. I think what was the one bit that got me? I think it's when Maul just like throws him to the ground and like breaks the jetpack. Well, oh, there goes the advantage.
He does not have
You
the
lost
portable
the
high
aerial-
ground.
Yeah.
The second time we see a Mandalorian's jetpack malfunction and it causes their head to get chopped off.
Oh my god. Oh, right.
Django.
Oh my god. Jaco's just he didn't really deserve all that.
I just love how Maul just storms in there. Like the man just breaks his way into the room, and then it's all of Pre's people, and he's like, "I challenge you to a duel." It's like walking up to a group of like high school jocks and calling out one of them and saying that I want to beat the crap out of you. And the guy's like, all right, I guess I will.
I guess I'll do it.
Not only that, he backs it up too. You're like, whoa. To backtrack a little bit, did we ever see the conflict anywhere between Vizsla and Dooku?
No.
Because we know all we know is that Dooku leaves the scar on Vizsla. And we're like, oh, did we ever see the Darksaber fight Dooku? Which, like, honestly, Dooku with a Darksaber, that would have been a sight to see.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one hand behind his back with the dark side. I couldn't.
Oh my god.
He's so extra. I love him so much, but he's so extra.
Yeah, well, because he's a master. He's got to show off the skill.
And like him fencing with it, like that type of like lightsaber combat style. Oh my god, that would look so good.
When he in that season 6 arc where they're trying to find Sifo Dyas, he just like fights off Obi-Wan Anakin. And I'm like, bro, where was this in Revenge of the Sith?
Well, I think a super underrated duel is when it's like almost Ghost Asajj versus Dooku in like season 2 or 3.
3.
That is an underrated duel.
Yeah, because again, he has that great line of, "You think I need my eyes to kill you?"
The way Corey Burton delivers that line is so perfect too.
It's great too because like then you get we got the iconic image of Dooku in the pajamas, which would go on to be in a meme and in Battlefront. You know, Dooku in those exquisite pajamas, man. We saw them everywhere after that.
Pajamas.
It's such a random skin to put in Battlefront. Out of everything they could have like picked, why would they pick Pajama Dooku?
But everyone loves Pajama Dooku.
That's fan service right there. They knew what the fans did.
The only thing we're missing now is shirtless Ben Solo.
Oh my god.
Like, come on. Like, come on, EA. Battlefront 3, get on it.
Battlefront 3 needs Asajj and Ahsoka.
Well, they were going to be in Battlefront 2, but something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's the Grievous audio tracks for it between like Asajj and Ahsoka.
Yep.
Have you guys heard that?
We should probably get back to the dark side.
Yeah, probably
We
should.
keep veering off. That's how big Star Wars is. We keep veering off and other stuff.
But Dooku's pajamas connect with everything, so it's fine.
It's the center of everything.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
It's really, yeah. Star Wars isn't about hope; it's about Dooku's pajamas.
It's about Dooku's pajamas.
That's it. That's a T-shirt if I ever heard one. That's a lot of merch money right there sitting on the table.
Right there, free intellectual property for you guys. So have at it.
Boom. They fly. This is no longer they fly. This is the pajama cast.
The pajama cast. Oh,
we should have a pajama day. We should have a pajama episode.
Are you going to bring us back for the pajama
Yes.
episode? Because we gave you the pajama idea, or Beth gave it to you.
on a silver platter
And
while we're at it.
You have to bring Julia back too. She's the CEO of the pajama talk as far as Star Wars.
We will have to bring. We have to bring Julie back for a Dooku pajama Corky Kenobi episode.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great mashup.
Oh my god. Okay, let's get back
Yeah,
to
they obviously
Darksaber.
go together.
Yeah.
So obviously we have. Oh, sorry.
No, you go. Go for it.
So obviously we have the duel between previously a Maul, and then we have, I want to highlight this because I know Malik will go nuts. We have the Bo-Katan basically saying, "What, you use Mandalorian combat how you're supposed to? That's a BS."
Yeah, it's like an outsider will never rule Mandalore. Not like we have a whole foundling system. An outsider will, how dare you challenge our leader through the right ways and the proper channels and then win? How dare you, Maul? oh no, this thing we knew would end up blowing up in our faces, blew in our faces. Well, I'm gonna blame someone else. I live for the Bo-Katan slander.
I'm the opposite, so
Speak your piece then. Speak your piece.
as a fake redhead, same with Bo. I'm just like, also just Katie Sackhoff. Just
Yes, Katie Sackhoff.
Just Katie Sackhoff.
We're no toxic fans here. I love Katie Sackhoff. It's just, Bo-Katan's a horrible person.
Are you familiar with the Death Watch Manifesto from the Bounty Hunter's Guide at all?
I have not read the Bounty Hunter's Guide. Now I'm more of a smuggler type of guy than a bounty hunter guy.
Oh, okay. No, I was wondering because like the foundlings actually have to be like adopted into one of the clans. So that's how they get around that.
Gotcha.
Big fan of Death Watch. I don't want to say I'm a fan of Death Watch. I just like Mandalorian. I was like,
yeah, Mandalorian. No, I get that. Like again, some people say like I love First Order. Don't agree with their ideals at all. But I like the First Order.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
So were you happy? Are you happy? Are you glad that Death Watch did like?
Oh my god.
What's the positive? Like, what's the positive? Like, I'm just wondering. I'm just at like.
Oh my god.
Why do you support them or?
Oh, the positives of Death Watch?
Yeah.
I personally do not support them. Just because I understand you doesn't mean I agree with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just gotta snaps back to tech. But I think it's interesting because obviously they are the traditionalists, and that is kind of the history of Mandalore. So that's why I find them fascinating. But yeah, definitely don't like support. I'm not like pro-violence.
I love the fear and like the regret in Carter's voice when he actually was like, "Did I invite a terrorist onto my show?" He's like, "Do you support Like Carter was actually worried he invited someone who's like, "You don't have plans to like do anything bad, do you?"
Oh my god. This is really going off the deep end real quick. Oh my god.
I've had to pass like 9,000 background checks for what I do, so you guys are good.
Gotcha.
You guys are good.
Oh my god.
That's yeah, like Death Watch is definitely a complicated thing where like you understand they just want to respect their heritage. It's just they have a very problematic heritage.
They're not willing to adapt to like modern society. It's like you have to respect that, but then also realize that the times are changing, And
It also
Definitely.
it's funny that what's Din's people called again? That I forgot their names.
The children of the Watch.
Yes,
Yeah,
the fact that Bo looks down on them and views them as religious zealots, and I'm like, Bo, what were you doing?
I love she's like, they're one of those people. Like the way she, like the guy, like I forget his name, but it's like Wolf something. He's like the way he phrases it, he's like, oh, he's one of those Mandalorians.
It's like there's a lot of burned villages and dead people behind you, Bo.
Well, and also Death Watch, they're the ones that saved it.
Fair, that's right. That begs, wow. Yeah, even more. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
It's really, that's why I find them fascinating because there's so many contradictions. It's like, and granted, that's like what I do all day too, is like pull apart contradictions and verbiage. So I'm like, this is really cool, but in like not, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Definitely.
God, so like, so like, is there like the fractured Death Watch, man? And that's during the Clone Wars too. Oh my goodness. Mandalorian's getting even more fascinating now.
Yeah. The one thing that's consistent about Mandalorian is that there's no consistency.
I gotta highlight Brian's comment of Bo likes throwing rocks from the front steps of her glass house.
Brian also says we need He also says we need more gingers in Star Wars. I need more representation.
You got Bo. You got Cox. You got
Sabine for a little bit.
Is Sabine?
She gets orange.
She gets orange.
She gets orange.
Who else you got?
Who else is ginger?
Does Ahsoka count?
No.
I don't think so.
This is
She's
getting into a
orange.
weird discussion.
She is ginger.
Oh my god.
Is there anyone in
Like-
the High Republic?
Yes.
Who's
Like a
ginger in the High
ginger?
Republic?
I'm trying to think.
Is there? I don't know. I was asking.
I'm trying to think.
No, not really.
Ooh. Yeah, I can't think of anyone. Yeah, maybe there isn't that much ginger representation in Star Wars. Ooh.
No.
Yikes.
Gingers in Star Wars.
Actually Googling gingers in Star Wars.
Oh my god.
Mon Mothma.
That's
Why-
right.
Why,
Mon Mothma.
why we acting like
Mon
Mon
Mothma.
Mothma is like this great discovery? We're like, Mon Mothma, oh my god!
We did it.
We got one good one, yay!
So they're counting Obi-Wan as a ginger.
That's more brown, isn't it?
These are more of a brunette.
He's like a dirty. He has like my color hair.
Brooke just said we have our Ginger King Cal.
Cal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, we forgot about Cal. Oh my god. Look at that. Speaking of which, we actually might see Cal face the Darksaber if the rumors are true about Fallen Order 2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
apparently Darth Maul might be the main antagonist. So I'm like, ooh, Cal versus Darksaber Maul.
That would be insane.
Speaking
Is it supposed to take place after he's after Maul leaves Dathomir, or when is it supposed to take place?
It's all rumors. We don't know for certain, but apparently, like, the rumor is that Fallen Order 2 will be about Cal and the gang trying to take down Crimson Dawn, which is Maul, which explains how Maul lost it, and we see him in that sorry state on Malachor. Again, it's all rumors, not confirmed, but you know that's what's going around right now, and that's going to be the main point of Fallen Order 2. Which what makes and we're gonna see how what is Maul doing with that Darksaber, I guess. Yeah,
He's just like cutting like dinner. He's like,
he does the weird serial killer thing where like he puts it on a shrine to Sabine. I'm like, I'm not Sabine, Satine.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, this is weird.
He's like, I love this scene. I always love the scene. I always like joke about it when like Ezra walked in. He's like, that a lightsaber? Maul's like, indeed. It's just like, just the way he's like
But
so
your man-
territorial about
Sorry,
it. No, it's like how he's so like territorial about it. Like how he's like, this is my saber.
He's like, don't touch that, but your man did more about it. He's like, don't ask me about that, but there's more about it though. It's mine, but you might want to know more later on.
I just feel like he would be like, sit down. Here's where I need a therapy session just to get this all out. He's got a lot going on.
I think Maul needs a bit more than therapy at that point.
More.
He needs new leg. He needs new legs. He needs a new brain.
Well,
Snap to Sam Witwer for like really showing the unhinged version of Maul.
Oh, 100%.
oh my god. Absolutely. And now whenever I read a book and Maul shows up, or like I read a comic and Maul, I just re-ent Sam Witwer's voice. He does it so well. And like Maul doesn't do he actually does more than I think Vizsla does the Darksaber, because he fights Dooku with it when he's in prison.
I was gonna bring that up.
Reconquers Mandalore with it as he like takes over again, and then he just hides out on Dathomir for a little while with it.
He's like, I've done my battles. I am done with this. Also, I want to add this little side note, little behind the scenes fact. For Solo, originally, instead of having the double-bladed like Inquisitor lightsaber, they debated about doing the Darksaber for a while. As like,
I remember hearing this, and then people were like, "Oh, well," they would be like, "Okay, that's Maul," but then they'd be like, "What is that?" So that I think they decided to go for the more iconic.
I think that works best that they didn't, because then I feel like that would have taken away from Moff Gideon's reveal later on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Oh.
the bricks were cracked when that happened.
I remember freaking out. I was like, what?
But
I was watching it with my mom and stepfather, who are like very casual fans, and I started screaming, and they were like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I was like, "It's the dark saber!" I was like, "I'm sorry, it's totally fine. It's just." I had to sit there and explain what.
My first thought was like, "Is Sabine okay? Is Sabine okay? Where is she?
Where is Sabine? Is she safe? Like,
What did you do, Filoni?"
Oh my god.
Before we move on, Beth, I want to ask you. I just want to hear some of your opinions on Mandalore, because I know that's like what you do. And I just want to like give me some Mandalore just talk. I just want to hear your opinions on Mandalore, I guess.
Oh, that is a great question. So I think, as I said earlier, the only thing consistent about Mandalore is that nothing is consistent about Mandalore. Both canonically and if you integrate legends as well, it's even less consistent. So my main thing whenever I think about Mandalore, which is probably at least twice a minute, I just always want to know what like goes on in the writer's room, or if they're like, hey, let's do this all of a sudden. Because there doesn't seem to be any consistency that I can find as far as like tracing the history and plotting it out and stuff like that. But I find it absolutely fascinating because there are so many different ideologies that are like competing at the same time. And obviously you have the issues with like not just the houses, but you have the clans, and then you have like these factions. But then at the same time, in addition to this like kind of warrior culture existing, whether it's like the predominant kind of ruling entity at the time or not, you also have a very structuralized like formal government with like a prime minister and a cabinet, and it's just like it's just completely contradicts the whole like warrior culture ideology. And the thing that like baffles me the most that like started this whole thing is when I was rewatching the Clone Wars, and I was like, why is Pre Vizsla introduced as the prime minister? Like, why is he going about this like in any sort of legitimate way? Like, he should be like, I'm the Mandalore. Like, you guys need, if he really is about like reinstating their warrior ways. So again, just completely baffling, which is why I like it so much, and trying to like parse it apart and actually have it make sense. But every time, especially with like the Darksaber and trying to figure out the parameters and like rules of the Darksaber, every single time I start digging into it, I just have more questions. But it's more on a legal level. Like I was like, okay, so Tar Vizsla created it. Obviously, he was the first Mandalorian inducted into the Jedi Order. Like, when did he create the Darksaber? Is it like technically a joint venture between the Mandalorians and the Jedi? Because then the Jedi had it after Tar Vizsla died. So like, there more questions than answers. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah,
I just had a thought about all that. So Palpatine beats Maul. Does that mean
Yes, I was
is
just going to mention
technically
that.
the proper Mandalore
Yes.
of Mandalore? But then Palpatine's officially defeated by Rey. So does that make Rey Skywalker the proper Mandalore?
So I actually plotted this out legally. There are two. I'm sure you guys have like heard like the two. There's Din. I'm sure you probably heard like Luke and then Rey. And then there are two theories that I haven't seen anyone posit that I plotted out legally. I just have to actually make the videos, which has been, luckily we had two major things settle a couple weeks ago. So hopefully I'll have time now. But yeah, it's fascinating when you think about it and you try to think about the rules, because it's like, okay, does the person have to utilize the Darksaber in combat in order for it to officially be won? So it's very, more questions than answers.
It's like a Uno rule. You have to say, I claim the saber in a source. If you didn't say it, it doesn't count.
So it's so true. It's so true. But it's so cool. We love the Darksaber. yeah, I just think about it too much.
I don't know why. I just imagine now every time they claim it, someone they're like, "All right, go in the back room. You have to go sign this contract. Make sure you really own it."
You will be attacked 24/7. No one's gonna like you. No one's gonna want to take it from you.
And then we have to redo this again.
It's so true, because like pretty much anybody in Mandalore can be like, I would like to rule. I'm going to challenge. I mean, and granted, like the Darksaber doesn't give somebody the right to rule. It's obviously a symbol, as we know, via Fen Rao's speech in Rebels. But anyone at any point can be like, hey, I would like to do this. And so it's like, what? God, that's a lot of stress. That just seems like a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't like want, like, because even if you don't, let me restart. What doesn't make sense to me about it is that Din doesn't want it, but Din has to have it. But Palpatine, like, nothing's even brought up about it.
Because he didn't try to. I don't know. Bo-Katan
Whether he
wasn't in
wants
the
it or
room.
not, shouldn't. I don't know. This is like, it makes no sense to me. It just contradicts itself.
I go back to the Kanan line from Rebels. What is with you, Mandalorian? I don't understand you.
That's it. That is 100% it. That's Mandalore in a nutshell.
Yeah, like what is with all you people? Should we move on to, I guess that would mean Rebels then? Yeah.
I think it's a good segue into Rebels and basically the whole Trials of the Darksaber arc of basically Carter, I want you to segue this one because I know you have a lot to say.
Well, I really want to hear what they have to say about when Sabine goes back to Mandalore. I want to know your guys' opinions on when she comes back and how they kind of treat Sabine. Because not very. Malik.
I want to backtrack a little bit because you're like my favorite episode of all of like Star Wars animation is that episode when Sabine trains the saber with Kanan.
Yeah,
like that's
so
that's peak Star Wars right there. Like that's my favorite because like just like the symbolism of what that blade means to her and like and how she feels and while it's like it's her path of like growing beyond what she did for the Empire. It's like. I'm getting chills just thinking about after this.
I just rewatched that. That was I rewatched Trials of the Darksaber right before I probably finished it 15 minutes before we went live. And once Kanan lets Sabine use the Darksaber and they're like dueling, it just sends like chills all over your body. She's like, I don't know the exact quote, but she's like,
I stood up against the Empire. My family didn't stand with me, or something like that. And it's like, and just like the scene where they're. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You go.
It's like the scene when they lock and just like she's like feeling, she's just like you can see her getting work. I'm like, dude, like, it's getting into it. Plus, Ezra gets to be a little like a-hole a few times.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not the student this time. I don't have to learn a lesson, so I get to be a jerk to Sabine now.
I also love the speech like Hera gives to Kanan about you gotta let her use it because just making her use sticks is just not gonna train you. She's just too stubborn about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, did you have Ezra train with sticks? He's like, no.
Don't train Sabine with sticks.
No wonder she's mad.
Like everyone needs a Hera in their life. Like are you doing the rational thing right now? Like,
I love Hera.
I love her. I love that scene is so powerful when she's like, slamming on Kanan. And I just think it really drives home like the Mandalorian, the core value is family. And it's like, oh God, when you're talking about getting chills, I was getting like teary-eyed just because you can hear her voice and it's like. Yeah.
When Kanan asked her, he asked her, why did you leave?
Oh, it's so
For my
hurts.
family. Like,
Oh.
it's heartbreaking. It's like, oh, but yeah, that's like what that's Mandalore.
Oh, I'm getting
It
chills
was-
right now.
And then she starts. Oh.
I'm sorry, you guys.
I was gonna say she starts talking about how, like, the weapons she created were used against her people. How it looks like she betrayed her family when in reality all she was trying to do was come back and free them. Oh, man.
Oh man, can you believe we watched this show for fun, right? We watch it because we like feeling these feelings. Okay.
Also, ostensibly, all of us have watched it multiple times. Like, we should have like an emotional connection on this level.
Now we're just masochists. Oh my goodness. I like Fenn Rau had the role of, like, fun. I'm like, oh, I'll use your Mandalorian tricks, and Kanan is very strict, like, no, like, it's all about this way of the sword, and but like also by the way, like, Sabine had to find her own way in the sense. I like she uses the whip to get the sword back, essentially, because like Kanan has to realize she's not a Jedi, she's a Mando, so it had to work like that.
I also love the speech Kanan gives to Sabine about, like, these cheap tricks is what got Mandalorians killed. Remember who won the war? It was the Jedi.
No, he goes history lesson. The Jedi won the war, or something like that.
I love that line. That's why Kanan's my favorite Jedi, because like he balances being like wise like Obi-Wan, but like just a snarky D-back like Anakin.
Kanan's very much like a realist, like at the end of the day, whereas I feel like with Obi-Wan, he has like that sense of idealism. Like Kanan's like, no, this stuff. I'm sure you guys have read like A New Dawn, which is just.
It's all my to be read. It's right there on the shelf.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's right there on the shelf.
It's just like Kanan's, and I can't say like the word, but it's just like Kanan's like F-boy days, where he just is like, I don't care.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I heard. Someone used that exact word to describe him in that. Oh boy, even more excited.
Yeah, but it's great because he's still a Jedi underneath it all, and you're like, God, he really is like one of the perfect Jedi because he just has no attachments, and he's like, still these morals though. So,
yeah. That love to like that episode is so unbelievably good. It's A1 Star Wars.
Yeah.
Then we go to Mandalore and meet one of my favorite a-holes in all of Star Wars, Gar Saxon.
Oh, Gar Saxon.
what a delightful just jerk.
have you seen the comparison between it's like Gar Saxon in Clone Wars versus Gar Saxon?
Yes. Oh.
That's like one of my favorite things in the world.
It's like, wow. Well, he went from simping for Maul to simping for the Empire.
Gar Saxon is a bandwagoner. Come on, guys.
Hey, Gar Saxon follows the proper channels, Bo-Katan. I'm just saying. Maul won properly. Saxon falls in line. As it should. Empire wins the battle. Republic wins the battle. Takes over. Things change. Gar falls in line. He's not a bandwagoner. It's just a situation. He adapts.
Even when Pre Vizsla's getting killed, what are his last words? They're like, "As you must," or something like that, or like.
He's like, only the strongest
shall rule.
Shall rule, yeah.
Yeah.
As you said, only the strongest shall rule. Yeah.
Oh, one of the best lines.
Yeah. The duel with Gar Saxon is great too, because she uses Ezra's saber, doesn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
I love the Revenge of the Sith callback when she like has him at his knees, like.
Oh. Then we get that insane weapon that like targets Beskar and like messes up Mandalorians. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. No wonder why Satine has issues. Also, the fact that like it's named the Duchess after Satine is like.
Oh.
That's so bad. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Oh no! Why can't we just let Satine be happy? Like whatever. God.
So bad. It's
God.
so bad.
That's awful. I didn't even realize it was called the Duchess for that reason.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
It's the second weapon. The first one is actually Leia's blaster.
Oh.
It's called- yeah. Which I mean that's okay, but then like you have this thing on Mandalore that like kills everyone, and that's that's like
Yeah, I remember. I was scared because I thought Ursa and her brother. What's her brother's name? I know her brother has like a normal name.
Tristan.
It's
Tristan.
There we go. Yeah, and then we see them, and they what cool armor they have too, with the golden accents and stuff. Like,
Yes.
awesome. It was cool to see. It was cool to see Ursa too in Clone Wars season 7.
Yes.
She's with Bo when they walk Maul up in the Hannibal Lecter type deal. He's in it. But yeah, again, I love that connective tissue, seeing them all like branch apart. Like, there's Sabine's mom and all that. Yeah, it's like I think is anything else for the Darksaber? I think that's it for Rebels, isn't it? Because it just has that one arc.
Well,
Sabine, I think.
Oh right,
Again,
I was purposely trying to ignore the one bit. I forgot about it because I blanked it from my brain.
Wait, about what?
you know,
Sabine giving the Darksaber over to.
I was gonna talk about how Sabine, like, doesn't. Like, again, I guess everything in Rebels goes against the Darksaber, because when Sabine gets it, she is crawling and like a demon and gets it, and then she doesn't even give it to Bo-Katan by combat; she just gives it to him.
Which is all of a sudden that's not a problem here, but it's a problem in Mando.
in the words
Yeah, what's your guys' opinions on that? Like, Beth, you're like expert.
Yeah.
So I've thought a lot. I've thought a lot about this.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I want to hear it because I'm sure you've thought like hours on end about this scenario.
Okay, so obviously we know again that Bo-Katan was only regent, like ruler of Mandalore, until the Empire stepped in. Granted, we don't know if / when she lost the Darksaber. That's the biggest thing. However, I think the reason that she isn't taking it from Din is because obviously she took it from Sabine, and she was like maybe not super okay with that, but she was kind of okay with that at the time. And then I think it's connected to the Purge. Like, I think it's part of the reason like why Mandalore fell, and I think that's why she feels like she can't take it from Din. Like, she has to win it, because the last time she took it from somebody, this is what happened. So those are my theories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, I wonder, Malik, do you have any thoughts on this, like theorization?
Oh boy, do I!
I get to see your brain working. I get to see the cogs going in your brain. That's why I asked you.
For me, it's just like Sabine hands it over, and like again, Bo has shown no remorse for what she has done in the past. I'm like, maybe I don't know exactly how dedicated Ursa and Sabine, probably Ursa more so, was to the Death Watch cause back then. That's probably another issue we should probably address. That Sabine's mom was Death Watch. It's just like something happened. I think we're still missing a lot of info there, because like Bo-Katan has it, and then she doesn't have it, which leads me to believe maybe Bo wasn't that great of a leader. We don't know what happens exactly, because like I don't know. It's like I look at what happened to Mandalorian, and I think Bo saw Pre-Vizsla, like they lost Mandalore because Mandalore was so obsessed with their like old traditions that led to the rise of Maul. But she lets those old traditions run her choices in Mando, you know? And I find it weird that like, okay, she's making progress, she's okay accepting it here in Rebels, but not in, it's really weird. I think like I'm starting to think like maybe Bo's running again, it's that Mandalorian tradition is kind of like running her decisions, which is like, as Saul Pre-Vizsla does not end well.
I feel like Bo may have gotten backlash and got a ton of backlash from the Mandalorian people about how she got it, and maybe that could be why.
That's what I
That could
always
also be
theorized.
Again, there's a gap.
I just think there's so much we don't. Yeah, as you said, there's just so much we don't know that hopefully we'll get to see Amanda season 3 via like flashbacks or something.
That's what I've been hoping for. Like,
That's what I hope.
I want to see like Moff Gideon roll in like Maul style and like kick the door down and and try to like challenge like Bo for it. Karma.
You want Moff Gideon back so bad. He's done. The man saw Luke and tried to end it right then and there. He's done. He's going to prison.
I said flashbacks.
I
Malik.
would have asked him. I
He's
would
on
have
the
asked him
planet.
if he was
Flashbacks.
Yeah, no,
I would have asked Carl Weathers if he was in Mando season 3 when I went to Steel City Comic Con.
Ooh.
But then it was $300 to get my pop figure size, so I did it.
What?
I think
You're not allowed. You're not allowed to talk to him. You only pay for the pop sign. You're not allowed to speak.
I could have, but it was like you have to like reserve a time. You have to pay a certain amount just to talk to the guy.
What? He's already signed the pop. Just ask him why he signs the pop.
No, but the pop's $300.
All right.
Okay.
Cards
I
are
think
weird.
didn't Carl Weathers let it slip that he was in season 3?
Yeah, he did. I think
Okay.
in a clip.
I can't wait. I can't wait for
I'm like
that
the
moment.
red carpet.
I can't wait for that moment where it's like, "Hey, where's Cara Dune? Well, she was on Alderaan the entire time." Yeah, Cara Dune. Yeah, she was never here. She was on Alderaan when the Death Star blew it up. Can't wait for that inevitable moment. Like she went to her home planet, never to be seen again. I'm gonna laugh so hard.
Yeah, I don't know how Disney's gonna get out of that one, but I'm very excited to see.
Yeah.
I love the opening crawl someone made, and it just says Cara Dune's died. Next week.
Cara Dune was on a ship and it blew up.
Go to black.
It's now dust.
Oh god. Does that mean we'll get more Fennec? I just want more Fennec. That's all. If we that's
Yes.
yeah, I'm cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, you got about like
I think
2 or 3 months to more
Yeah.
Fennec.
Yes.
Yeah. Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. Sweet.
Oh.
Sweet. You think we'll see anything of the Darksaber in that one? Probably not.
No.
No. I don't see where.
I could see a Din cameo or like a Din showing up with it.
Yeah. Maybe for an episode.
Yeah.
I can see Din just trying to like give it away to people. Be like,
You want this? You want the saber?
do you guys want this? I don't want it. So.
That's gotta be like the Stan Lee cameos now from now on, and like the shows like Din's in this one. Boba Fett, take it. Fennec, take it. Rangers of the Republic, someone take this, please. I don't want it.
Cara Dune, take it and then go blow up your shit. He dies, and then the Darksaber's not a problem anymore.
Oh my god.
Just blow it up.
Oh my god.
Poor Din.
He just wants to rest with his green child.
It's a great child. But
Do you guys have any predictions about Mando season 3 and how the interaction between Bo went down? How she lost it? Malik, you can go first.
Ooh, again, I'm on the spot. So if for predictions on like how it's gonna go down with like it, I feel like what's gonna happen is Bo's gonna take it, but Casca Reeves, who was there, is gonna spread around like, yo, she didn't win that. She didn't win that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's gonna cause like dissent among the Mandalorians. And now Bo and like, yo, Din Djarin actually won that. And it's gonna cause them, yo, we don't want Bo in charge. We want you in charge because you actually beat Moff Gideon. And that's gonna cause a whole thing where Bo's like, no. I'm Mandalore. It's gonna be a whole thing. That's where I think it's gonna go. Because like, what else? Like, I can see her taking it and it not working out for her. And I think that like, you know, that would be like really like a cool way to go about it.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that as a scenario.
Bethany. Sure.
Yeah. I'm curious what she's going to do because Mandalore doesn't exist anymore, really. I mean, it exists, but like the Mandalorians don't really exist, if you will.
What they say, it got turned to glass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, what do you do without a home, a home planet for? And I'm sure they're like scattered throughout the galaxy or whatnot, but I'm curious to see how you would go about unifying the clans if that is what Bo is intending to do, to like reinstate some sort of like traditionalist Mandalorian regime, which sounds like a very bad idea. Like that's not a good idea. Like it's about adapting. We want to adapt with the times. But yeah, so I'm curious to see how exactly that would happen. One would go about finding more Mandalorians and where all the different clans are.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's like
well, I'm saying my biggest fantasy that Sabine just comes in and goes, "Give me that," and she becomes Mandalore again.
Sabine for Mandalore.
Exactly. Oh my god, I want to see her artwork she does in this era because apparently she's like a famous artist now.
Oh.
Yeah, like I think from the certain point of view books, they say like Sabine Wren is now regarded as like one of the greatest artists of like this era. I'm like, oh, dude, she's doing more. Let's see it.
Please.
I just want Sabine and Ahsoka. Where is she?
They're casting her. They're looking for someone to play her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
God. The Ahsoka show is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most excited about. And I guess that could kind of, because I think we kind of talked everything about the dark saber. Is there anything you guys want to touch on? Any closing thoughts?
I think we kind of like said everything. Like at least I did.
Yeah. So I guess just to kind of close everything out, questions for the both of you. We'll start with Beth. What project are you guys most excited about that's like coming up? So like any of the new shows or whatever, or books even. So what new media are you excited about? And then just again, where can we find you and your content?
Oh, thank you. That is a great question. I don't know if you can see all of the like Clone Wars, like Obi-Wan art that's in the back here. So I'm clearly very excited for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Very, very excited. I'm hoping for some like Clone Wars flashbacks. That just like, man, that's all I want in life is like in real life Clone Wars flashbacks. So yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited about. I'm trying to think of like other media. Just off the top of my head, I'm really excited for Queen's Hope too, which is obviously that's one of the Padme books, but that's coming out in November. I
have the first two on my shelf. They're on my to be read as well. I'm excited to get into those.
They're great, and I was not like I wasn't expecting them to be good, but I don't think I was expecting them to be as good as they are. So yeah, you'll have to let me know how you enjoy them. Yeah, those are the things I'm most excited for. And yeah, you guys can find me on the Clock app at mara.j.skywalker.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us, and Malik.
All right, me. What's up? Yeah, it's me now. All right, so me, what Star Wars project am I excited about? I'm like, I can narrow it down to 20, guys. So I think I'm gonna do for books. It's way through the High Republic, man.
Yes.
High Republic has just been a non-stop banger. Every single entry, like Light of the Jedi reinvigorated me into reading. Rising Storm broke me, and Fallen Star, I don't know what it's gonna do, but it's written by the absolute goddess of Star Wars writing, Claudia Gray. She just gets it, and I cannot. She's writing my favorite High Republic Jedi, Orla Jareni. I'm like, oh my god, and I'm so scared. I'm like, please don't kill my favorite Claudia. And in terms of show, I am. So there's two things I'm very excited for. One is my most hype, like, just show coming to the pipeline is Acolyte.
Yes.
Without a doubt, because it's set during the end of the High Republic, and that's all we know. It's an emerging dark side power. That's it. And I'm like I like Star Wars when I don't know what it is, when it's unrecognizable, which is why Vision's in 2 more days. Can't wait for that. And
Yes.
yeah, and there's also it's not confirmed, but there's like rumors in the milieu that possibly a Finn show is in development. It's a rumor. It's not confirmed, but it's like rumors. And I'm like, if that happens, like that jumps up to my number 1.
Chris has entered the chat.
Chris is just like slides his way in here. It's like
Well, we just got again nothing confirmed, but just like rumors out in the space. And me, I want to put that energy out there even more. Like, yes, make it happen.
Yes.
Oh,
What's like we see Rey rebuild the Jedi Order with Finn, and then we see Din rebuild Mandalore.
The rumor leak that said it was apparently the idea was that it would jump between Finn post Rise of Skywalker, but also Finn Stormtrooper life, and it would also have it would bring back, and it also said it would bring back a villain from Finn's past. I'm like, gotta be Phasma. Again, all nothing concrete, nothing confirmed, all just rumors out there in the sphere. So again, take that with a grain of salt. But again, I'm putting that energy out there. I want it, and I want it bad.
But under the point you said, how could it be Phasma? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make this an entire different discussion.
How could it have been Boba Fett? How could it have been Maul?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could be like an old stormtrooper recruit that just left the First Order and just went crazy. I don't know.
I just want more Phasma because I like Phasma. Eric, throw me a bone here.
I love Gwendolyn Christie. Gwendolyn Christie is like she's flawless.
Yeah, she was great when she hosted the Rogue One panel, and she's all like, "I got an action figure. Do you have an action figure, Jen Erso?" No, but I do. And I was like, "Oh my god, I love her." But yeah, you can find me on also the Clock app at the Jedi Smark. That's my new Twitter. But I almost said Twitter. My new TikTok handle. Again, I have a podcast. It's a podcast. We talk about Star Wars, nerd stuff, life. We have an episode called where my friend talks about his dream about being in a tsunami of George Bush. It's a lot. Like, guys, come on, join the madness. Again, wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, we're everywhere.
Amazon Podcast?
I think they have
Audible.
a podcast.
You can do an Audible.
Audible. There we go. But that's where you find me.
Awesome. Thank you, too, for joining us. Hereth, just the same thing real quick.
Again, we said it every week. Hereth Productions, TikTok, YouTube.
Yeah.
And I've already said it a lot in other episodes, so if you want to go figure out what I'm going to say or just listen to the other ones, I'm not doing it again.
Sorry, new viewers. We don't care about you first-time viewers.
You can find me at Cartoon2 on TikTok and on here. And then also next week, once again, we said at the beginning of the episode and last episode, next week we're going to be completely redesigned, new everything. It's going to be awesome. And we're talking about the Ghost Crew. Woohoo.
What?
Yeah.
You bring me up to an episode about Bo-Katan, but not the one about my favorite Jedi? All right, that's it. This show's a wash. Goodbye.
Oh my god.
Unbelievable.
You've 1 week to read A New Dawn. 1 week.
1 week.
Crap, I'm on Aftermath.
Oh, that's easy. I'll get it in Amazon.
I have it already.
I'll order tonight. Get it in tomorrow. Read it.
Yeah.
In 2 days.
But I really
Yes.
Also, I don't genuinely review like guests because I like to keep it kind of like a mystery for whatever reason. Like I like that surprise episode when you open the video and you're like, oh, it's this person on for the episode. But
I like to reveal because I think you can market it better.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But the reason why I want to reveal this one is because one, we already have Beth on, so I got to reveal her other half for I hate saying dyad. Dyad.
Nothing wrong with dyad.
It works out. Oh, I'm so excited. You're gonna have such a good time.
Yes.
But overall, I'd say this is a wrap for this episode.
Yeah, for sure. And then real quick, just shout out people in the chat. Thank you guys for joining. Aiden Talk Star Wars. Brian with the Beard. Pods One Podcast. Brooke, thanks for joining. Justin Thornton, Ace Bronx, who's everywhere, and I'm sure many more that just probably didn't comment or whatever. But we thank you guys all for joining us. This was an awesome episode. It was a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you both on in the future.
Oh, I'd
Because
lbe to be back.
was-
You know, you'll probably get me on like, all right, now we're going to talk about what else do I dislike in Star Wars? The knife from an episode just about the knife from Rise of Skywalker.
Just
I like
about the
just
knife.
the knife. Let's discuss the history of that knife.
All about Oshi.
Oshi.
I've heard
Ochi.
That's actually I've heard he's become a really funny character in the comics lately. I haven't read it, but I've heard he's become really like one of the best ones. Like really. That's so funny to me too.
Yeah. But thank you all for joining us. Until next week, episode 11. It's going to be awesome talking about the Ghost Crew. Thank you guys both for joining us. This was a great time. And may the force be with you.
Always.